Here we go. Now, 20 years ago, when I was researching for a book on the most maligned of all Second World War aircraft called the Marauder, I discovered that there were two gentlemen who had made a great study of this fine aircraft. And one was a fellow called Bernie Mallon in New York, who'd studied the nuts and bolts side, and the other was a fellow called Trevor Allen, one of my own countrymen, this fellow that you see here today, and he had really concentrated on individual marauders at that time, but he has come, in my opinion, to know more about the B-26 Marauder than anyone else on this earth. So to start today's presentation, I ask him to provide us with a brief chronology of B-26 highlights. Trevor.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the beginning, there was Peyton Magruder and a design team that put together an aeroplane that you knew as the B-26, that we in the UK came to know as the Marauder. The story that we shall unfold today is not only of the use of that aeroplane in combat, but more importantly, of the men who took it as an untried weapon of war and turned it into a superb combat aircraft through their own individual efforts. This is the tribute that we pay to you. Quickly through the chronology, after Peyton Magruder and his team turned out this airplane, they turned it over to the Air Corps. The first unit was the 22nd Bomb Group. They did most of the trials and testing of this airplane, and eventually were the first ones to take it into combat. On the 5th of April 1942, the Martin B-26 Marauder and the 22nd Bomb Group proved that they could fight the enemy. On that day, a flight of the 22nd Bomb Group Marauders bombed Rabaul in New Guinea. That was the start for a great many other units to take this airplane into battle. And quickly running through that list, the next unit was the 28th Bomb Group, when two of the squadrons in the Aleutians chain ran a mission against Japanese shipping on the 4th of June 1942. This was coincidental with an attack on the Japanese fleet at Midway, when two airplanes of the 69th Bomb Squadron and two airplanes of the 22nd Bomb Group flew against the Japanese fleet. Shortly afterwards, it was the privilege of 14th Squadron, Royal Air Force, to take their Marauders into action on the 22nd of October 1942, only shortly beating the 17th Bomb Squadron, who attacked shipping on the 15th of November 1942 off Guadalcanal in the Solomon Islands chain. The theatre of war then moved to the Middle East, into North Africa, when the 319th Bomb Group attacked German airfield at Karawan on the 28th of November 1942. Thereafter being followed by the 17th Bomb Group, which attacked Gabies airfield on the 30th of December 1942. The next unit was the 320th, who attacked Carlo Forte Harbour in Sardinia on the 22nd of April 1943. Again, there was a shift of theatre. The next unit to go into action was the 322nd Bomb Group, operating from England, and on the 14th of May they flew the first low-level mission to Amouden power station in Holland. There was a lull in operations in the UK until 16th of July 1943, when the 323rd Bomb Group ran the first medium-altitude mission to Abbeville marshalling yards in France. This was to be the precursor of all future B-26 operations in Europe from medium altitude. The 323rd were quickly followed by the 386, who on the 30th of July attacked Woensdrecht airfield. On the 15th of August, the 387th Bomb Group attacked St. Omer Fort Rouge. And then it was again a change of theatre when the 24th Squadron, South African Air Force, bombed Ponte Multazana in the Aegean on the 31st of January 1944. Again, back to the UK, the 391st Bomb Group ran an attack against Beaumont-le-Roger airfield in France on the 16th of February 1944. The next unit was a very special unit. Very special in the fact that the 1st Pathfinder Squadron bombed by radar and led many subsequent missions in very poor weather conditions in the European theatre of operations. Again, back to the Middle East and the Aegean, and 12th Squadron South African Air Force took the B-26 into operation on the 2nd of March to Kanin marshalling yards in Yugoslavia. That has rumblings back again today, unfortunately. The 344th Bomb Group on the 6th of March attacked Conches airfield in France. Shortly followed thereafter by the 394th Bomb Group on the 23rd of March to Beaumont-le-Roger again. Airfields seem to be very popular. Then came a change. The next unit to go into action was a French unit, Groupe de Bombardement 122, which on the 29th of March bombed Porto Ferraggi at Elba. The 397th Bomb Group was next to follow. On the 20th April 1944, they bombed a no-ball target at Le Pluie in France. And if you don't know what a no-ball was, it was a pilotless secret weapon. Again, the French went into action with GB-220 on the 24th of May, bombing Liri Valley Road targets in Italy. Another French unit, 119, on the 15th of June, bombed Dorna Railroad Bridge near Spezia. On the 20th of July, another French unit, 252, bombed Borgo 40 Railroad Bridge. And on the 10th of August, back in the UK, the 25th Bomb Group operated the first night photographic reconnaissance mission using B-26s to the no-ball sites in France. 21 Squadron South African Air Force were to follow on the 15th of August, bombing Porto Maggiore Railroad sidings. On the 25th of August, 30 Squadron South African Air Force bombed Forlì marshalling yards in Italy, followed by 2 French units, 132 and 263 on the 12th and 19th of September, bombing Firenzuola defense positions in Italy. On the 20th of November, 25 Squadron South African Air Force bombed Konjic marshalling yards in Yugoslavia. And then another special unit, the 410th Bomb Group, in reality an A-20 unit, equipped with several B-26s for special nighttime marking missions, began operation on the 1st of February 1945 when they bombed Ilocos Communication Center. The last, but certainly not the least squadron to operate the B-26, and I have to be very careful here, was 39 Squadron Royal Air Force, who on the 7th of February 1945 bombed Senje Arbor installations in Yugoslavia. All those units across the world, operated by men of very many different nationalities, were to prove in the end the effectiveness of the Martin B-26 Marauder and the trueness of the design. Gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I ask Roger Freeman to step up to the podium to carry on. Thank you.
I know he deserves it, ladies and gentlemen, but as we said earlier on, can you sort of leave your applause to the end of each session, because we have a lot to get through in 5 hours, and the time is flying. So I mustn't cackle on, but start to tell you that on March the 11th, 1939, the Material Division at Wright Field issued Circular Proposal 39640, which called not only for a new twin-engine bomber, but also for a new and potentially hazardous procurement procedure. The aeroplane winning the contest was to be ordered into quantity production directly from the drawing board, thus abandoning for the first time the traditional fly-before-you-buy prototype service test policy. Patent Magruder designed the Glen L. Martin entry. To tell us about that man is his son, Bob Magruder. Bob.